is how we do. Yo, 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 yo. This is how we do. Yo,
Hey guys, it's AG for Life. Today I'm going to show you some tips and techniques on how to care for your doll's hair that I've learned over the past years since I got my first American Girl doll. Also, a lot of you guys have been wondering what I named my new doll, and I decided to name her Amber. So I think that name really suits her, and I think thanks guys for helping me choose the name. Okay, so let's get onto the video. So the first tip is to make sure you have the right tools. First, you're going to need a wire wig brush. Mine's from American Girl, but you can really get these at any beauty store, but I recommend getting it from American Girl. And also, make sure this is a brush you haven't used on your own hair, because the natural oils can damage your doll's hair. Next, you'll need a spray bottle. Mine, again, is from American Girl, but you can really get these at the dollar store or any beauty store. And make sure it's filled with clean water. The last tool you'll need is a hair pick. This is optional, but it helps to get out tangles and knots, and it also helps with curly hair. The second tip is to make sure you do not use any heat appliances on your doll's hair, such as a blow dryer, a strainer, or a curling iron. If you have a new doll that you just got, make sure you do not use any heat appliances because you do not want to ruin their beautiful and new hair. The only time I would recommend straightening your doll's hair is if it's a very old doll, such as Jess I have right here. As you can see, her hair is super frizzy and has a lot of split ends, and it's very dry. I've had this doll since I was little, so I didn't really know how to correctly brush it, so that's why her hair isn't in very good condition. But to repair your doll's hair, you can try straightening it, but make sure it's a doll that already had straight hair before. And before you ever straighten your doll's hair, make sure that you have a parent's permission and you looked up tutorials on YouTube. And I'll link some really good tutorials on how to straighten your doll's hair in the description box below. The third tip is to make sure you do not wash your doll's hair, especially if it's a new doll. You wouldn't want to damage her new hair. Once again, if it's an old doll with damaged hair, such as I showed just before, then to repair her hair, it would be helpful to wash it. And there are many different tutorials on YouTube. I already washed 2 of my doll's hair and it did repair their hair. But I would only recommend washing your doll's hair, again, if you had parents' permission and if you looked up correct tutorials on YouTube. The fourth tip is to make sure you know your doll's hair texture, such as a curly hair doll, straight, or wavy. If you have a curly hair doll, make sure you know how to finger curl it, and instead of brushing it, you would instead finger curl it. And there are a lot of different videos on YouTube about that, so I'll link some in the description box below. If you have a doll with straight hair, make sure you know how to correctly brush her hair, and that will be in a tip later on. If you have a wavy hair doll, wavy hair tends to get more frizzy, but it's much easier doing hairstyles on, so you can do a lot of different hairstyles on a wavy hair doll. The fifth tip is to know how to correctly brush your doll's hair. I'm going to show how to correctly brush a straight hair doll, but if you have a doll with a different hair texture, there are a lot of different tutorials on YouTube for that. Begin by taking a wire wig brush and a spray bottle and cover her eyes so her eyes don't rust when you spray the water. Lightly spritz her hair with water. Don't overdo with the water. Now start from the bottom of her hair and just brush it. If you start from the top of her hair and work your way down, all of the knots from the top are going to end up on the bottom. And you do not want that. So just lightly, gently, just brush her hair from the bottom. And now go from the middle and work your way down until you reach the top. It's also helpful to take sections of her hair and brush it out in sections if you want to do that. And now work your way to the top. Make sure when brushing your doll's hair, you don't pull from the top of her hair where the wig is glued on. Don't pull your brush in there and pull down because her wig can loosen from that. So just make sure you do it lightly and nice and gently. So now your doll's hair should be very nice, and that is how to correctly brush your doll's hair. So the sixth tip is to make sure you do not keep certain hairstyles in your doll's hair for a long period of time. For example, if you keep a braided hairstyle, as you can see on my other gist as shown here, then your doll's hair, you will literally be able to see where you took that ponytail holder out and where you braided each section of hair. And you do not want that. So I just recommend having a certain hairstyle, like a ponytail or a braid or something like that, in your doll's hair for a week or less. Don't keep it in for like a month, because like you do not want that. So the last tip is a no-brainer, but it is to keep little kids and pets and such away from your doll. Little kids tend to not really know how to take care of a doll, and they think it's a toy. So just make sure you keep like younger siblings or something away from your doll, because you don't want their hair to be a tangled disaster. So those are all of the tips and techniques I have to keep your doll's hair looking flawless. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. And also make sure to check that description box for all of those tutorials that I showed and mentioned earlier in the video. If you have any other questions about taking care of your doll's hair, then just comment them down below. I'll be sure to reply and help you guys out. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!